and welcome to The Coolest Journey, the CFMU 93.3 FM radio show and podcast, where we explore the intersections of health and environment in a fun, informative way, sharing tips to make everyone's life a little cooler. I'm your host, Hélène Caron. This week is extra special. It's the first week of June, which means it's Ocean Week in Canada. Ocean Week is an annual national celebration of events, learning, and engagement held around World Ocean Day on June 8th. It's a time to recognize the incredible role the ocean plays in our everyday lives and how our local waterways connect us all, from watersheds and river like what I have behind me and ocean like what's behind my guest. So from watersheds and coastal areas right out to the open ocean. So if you haven't already, head over to oceanweekcan.ca to find out how you can get involved and celebrate that connection. In the spirit of Ocean Week, I'm launching something I'm really, really excited about. It's a monthly open water check-in series where I chat with swimmers from around the world about their swimming conditions, experiences, and all things about open water. We're putting open water swimming, well, cold open water swimming at the forefront of our conversations throughout the year. And for this very first episode of the series, I have a guest who needs no introduction. Well, almost, I guess. This is actually her fourth time on the podcast, which officially makes her my swimmer in residence. Gabriela Herrero is a cold open water swimmer with serious distance credentials. 10 to 20 kilometer swims are basically a warm up for her. Based in Burlington, she's a regular in Lake Ontario, and she always brings the best stories and insights. If you want to catch more of Gabriela's episodes, check out The Coolest Journey on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Links are in the show notes. Gabriela, welcome back. So happy to have you here again.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love chatting with you.
Oh, well, le plaisir est réciproque, c'est certain. It's a reciprocal pleasure. So, Gabriela, you are here today because of Ocean Week, and you're my first guest where we're talking about like check-in on open waters everywhere. So, behind you, you have a picture you told me of Mexico Ocean.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place in Mexico called Holbox. It's supposed to be an island, but in reality, it's not an island, and it's between. It's in the peninsula of Yucatan, so
Okay.
it's you have to go to Cancun or to Merida to get there, and it's in the border exactly of the Caribbean Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. So it's very special, beautiful place, beautiful, beautiful.
So, Atlantic Ocean
Caribbean, Atlantic,
side.
both.
Yeah, on that side, as opposed to the Pacific side. So on the east side of Mexico. All right. And I know I've got my frozen river, the frozen pool in the river behind me, which is the Ottawa River, and that's the Tom Heyerdahl's pool behind me. And Mexico, which is that beautiful water behind you, is not where you swim every day. That's more
No,
like, yeah.
Lake Ontario.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure, but we won't go there. You're in Lake Ontario most of the time, and I know that it's actually where we met, was in Lake Ontario.
In Lake Ontario, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's a fairly large body of water.
Huge. Yeah, huge. It looks like an ocean. If you think about it, well, if you read about it, it says that the Great Lakes supposedly should be seas, but because they're freshwater, they cannot be seas. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct. The E's and the A's together, seas.
It's
Um,
perfect. It's perfect. Don't worry. I mean, I'm French Canadian. I don't know. I think I say it. I think it sounds perfect to me. But I actually think that the first nations and the first colonizers, when they came here, the adventurers, they saw these and they thought it was the sea, although it's fresh
mhm.
water. But it was, you could see the horizon, which where I am in Vancouver, funny enough, I have salt water, but it's a strait. It's a gulf, I guess, Gulf and Strait. And so I don't I don't have that horizon line that you have in Lake Ontario, so which I think is quite
It's
ironic,
interesting. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I see Vancouver Island. If I look through the English Bay at the
Channel.
other,
Yeah.
yeah. So not the English Channel. The English
The
Channel would be
English
between
Bay.
France,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
between
Sorry.
France.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's okay. Um, so basically, this big lake that you swim in is not the largest one. That would be Lake Superior, but it's a very busy lake that you swim in.
Yeah. Very busy.
Yeah, that's the last lake before all that fresh water goes into the St. Lawrence River and then goes into the ocean. So tell us about the conditions that you've had in Lake Ontario that makes it Lake Ontario.
Well, first of all, it's unpredictable in the sense of temperature. So you can have 24 degrees, and then the next morning it can be 7 degrees, which is ridiculous, but it is. And it doesn't have a tide. The tide is very unnoticeable, so that's a good thing. Currents, obviously, where we swim, the currents are not dangerous. Obviously, if you go in the middle of the lake, it's super dangerous, but we have good conditions to swim, even in the cold, every day. Some people don't believe, but we do have high waves when it gets, the temperature goes up and the lake is cold. We have high waves. The waves can be up to 3 meters. We have a lot of fun swimming. There's no undertow, which makes it even easier to, play in the waves and things like that. Um,
If I may, the waves are so
yes,
high that there's a group of people who do surfing on Lake Ontario. That's like there's Lauren King, who is a marathon swimmer in the Hamilton area. We see him regularly on his board there, but in Toronto, there's a whole group of people who will wear their wetsuits to go out in the middle of winter, especially
yeah,
to
and there's
go
a lot
and
of
surf.
how do you call the ones that they have the wind windsurfing and the other one, the one with the parachute, also in
Oh,
Toronto.
I know
So those
exactly what,
we
yeah.
can do those things here in the lake when there's waves. But honestly, I think it's a pretty safe lake to swim long distance. Not to cross it. To cross it is more dangerous than the English Channel. But if you are close to the coast, let's call it,
On the
it's
shore.
the shore is a very reliable lake to swim in. There's not a lot of fish in the area that I swim in. I think it's because it's where it turns, so the fish might have a little way to go on a shorter distance. Because when we swim at Shell Park, you see the fish, but here and this year there's none. Usually at this time of the year, the little silver ones, they're not there.
And when we say small silver ones, they're about what, a few centimeters
About
long?
10
10.
centimeters, yeah, the ones. Now, those are invasive species, so I'm happy that they die, but I like to see them. But
Mm.
millions of them died
Oh,
in before the summer because the temperature changes. So they are not used to cold water, and that's when it flips, and they die.
but you see some big fish in there too, right? There are some big
Yeah,
fish.
yeah. There's salmon. Uh, there's
Oh, eels, the American eels,
the
because
eels.
we saw two of them
Yeah,
frozen.
there are how do you call those ugly ones?
The
The
sturgeons?
sturgeons, and there are the other ones, the muskies. But I've never seen. I think I saw a sturgeon once, but I have never seen a muskie, and I hope I never would. Other than that, there's carp, there's trout, there's a bunch of little fish. I don't know the names of all of them, but we have had encounters with a salmon that was so big we thought it was a shark.
Oh my
And there's a
God.
picture to prove it.
It's a shark.
It's a
Well,
shark.
coming back to the sturgeon, we have some here in the Fraser River, which goes into the strait where we are, and then that goes into English Bay, and um, I think they've been measured as 1 to 3 meters long.
Yeah,
They're
they're
huge.
big. They're
Yeah.
big. Now,
And
sturgeons don't bite
okay.
unless, like a raccoon. Like if there's a crazy one, they might bite you, but they don't do anything. It's the oldest fish in the world. Is ugly. Encountering one must be really horrible.
It looks
But
prehistoric.
yeah, I was in Sarnia a couple of weeks ago, and we went to the fish market. I thought about you and the Vancouver fish market,
Oh,
and they are trying to bring back the sturgeons, and so we read a lot about them, and they're good fish. They're ugly, but they don't bite, which is good.
they are endangered here in the Fraser River, and there's different kinds. I can't remember if it's the white
Hmm.
sturgeon. I'd have someone would have to correct me on this, but it's like there are many researchers doing studies specifically on the sturgeon here in the Fraser River to try and make sure that it will move out of the endangered species. But it's such a busy, busy area. It's hard for the fish to survive, between the
Yeah,
boats and other
the
human. There's
ski-doos, the
the
jet ski.
the jet skis, the planes landing on the water. There's the lumber industry. So there's things going down, which are things that you don't necessarily have in Lake Ontario. You do have some water planes, but I don't think we've seen
Oh,
them
they
where
land
you
here. We've seen
swim.
them flying very close. Were you with me when that guy was like very close? But no, I have never seen a plane landing in Lake
uh,
Ontario.
on the Lake Ontario. So what I've seen with you were the jet skis. We've seen some crazy jet skiers.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and we're both of us are shaking our heads right now because the incident with the gray whale in Vancouver happened about 4 weeks ago. And just so you know, the motion that was presented by one of the board members for the Vancouver Parks Commission, it was turned down, and it was to ban the
Oh.
jet skis in the Burrard Inlet for the summer. So
Yeah, I
we're
just
this,
read that news.
yeah.
I'm very upset. I voted for them to be removed.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. We signed a petition. That was the first step, and then it was all the emails had to be sent to the board members, and apparently it wasn't enough for them to vote on it. So there are thousands of people here that are pretty sad about all of this. Nonetheless, we'll see. Hopefully, we have better luck. But it's the same thing in Lake Ontario. You have jet skis; they
Yeah,
are a problem, and you also have other
boats.
traffic. Yeah, boats
A lot of traffic with boats.
and big boats as well. Shell Park, that you've mentioned. I never figured out if Shell Park was named after a person or if it's because of the shells that are found
It's a big,
there.
no, it's because of
The
Shell
shell, the
Oil
petroleum.
Company
Yeah, okay, that's where that was gonna be my last. Okay, yeah, because there's a long pier, and then you get the big ships there that I'm
to
not sure if
refuel.
yeah, I'm not sure if they bring the crude oil or if they pick up the refined oil, maybe
Or
both.
both. I don't know. I don't. I'll search that info.
Yeah, but there's oil being exchanged right there at the end of the pier. And so these are massive boats that are close to you that you
Yeah.
have to keep in mind when you're swimming.
Well, those
Um,
ones are far away. Even when they go into the channel in Hamilton Channel, they're far away. And
okay.
I have never crossed swimming the channel.
Yeah,
Never.
I don't think it's legal, right? It's the current is so strong there because
I don't
it's
know.
that's the under the lift bridge, right? That's the channel.
I know two people that have crossed that. I have seen paddle boarders crossing it. I don't know.
I yeah,
I don't know, but I know
dangerous.
also bodies go through there, so I'm
Yeah.
not crossing.
Yeah. And so those are things though that you have to keep in mind swimming in Lake Ontario. It's very specific to that space. Everywhere we swim in open water swimming, there are slight differences that we need to be able to adapt to quite quickly. And that's why it's so good to have someone local that we can go and swim with.
Yeah.
What are also other not specialty, but the peculiarities and particularities of Lake Ontario that you have to adapt to. The lake flipping is one of them, right?
The lake
From
flipping is, and it's funny because if you look into when I was learning about the flipping, it says that it's twice a year, and I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree on that. It flips more often. For example, it was not a flip, but the currents 2 days or 3 days ago, I swam in the lake, and if you remember from where we started going to Hamilton at the Catamaran Club, it was warm. And it was like
oh
so nice. And I was like, oh, so I decided to swim longer. And on the way back, I was cold. And I was like, I had a drop and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I have to be careful because it was so nice. And then maybe it was 13, 14 degrees, but it felt nice after, maybe 7 degrees. And yesterday, when I went swimming, I said, I'm going towards the heat. I started swimming again towards that, and it was freezing cold to the point. This is the first time that I have a brain freeze during the swim. It was
oh
so cold. So
oh
it moves like the current goes like this. So sometimes I get the cold 2 days later when somebody had it in Toronto. So those are the things that sometimes like, what the hell happened? Why is it so cold now? Or why is it so hot?
mm.
Um, I think that might be one of the peculiarities of the other one is where I swim. Well, actually, the Great Lakes, they all have dunes. The dunes are create problems because right now there's almost no beach. The beach is maybe 12 meters long, when
Mm.
last year was like maybe 20 to 30 meters of beach. So yeah, swimming there yesterday, I had to, at some point I was going straight, then I had to open myself because my nails were touching the floor. So you have to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
because when you're swimming, it's a very shallow entry into the water.
Entry,
So you could be in a deeper spot, you start swimming, and next thing you know, your hand is going through the sand
touching.
as you're pulling through your stroke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are the peculiar things about Lake Ontario. Other than that, it's a very peaceful place because it's so big at the same time.
The so I've got a few questions. When we started to swim there that fall, that was fall of 2020, we had a lot of muck on some
Oh, the
days.
mock. Yeah, 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 yeah. We have mock. That's right. That's not a peculiarity, but yeah, we do.
Uh,
I've
yeah.
seen the lake doing crazy things. I think we talked about these, but sometimes the lake just throws out wood and there's wood everywhere. And then
Mm.
one day is just garbage. One thing that it's happening now is people put offerings and
Oh, yeah.
balloons. Um, I mean, if you were doing an offering and if you do biodegradable stuff, fruit, flowers, I don't care, but they're putting wrap jewelry or things like that in the offerings and balloons. That bothers me a lot.
Or
There's an
or
invasive
flowers or sorry, or
flowers are,
flowers,
yeah, but
but
dry flower. Then
dry
yeah,
or whatever kind of flowers, but they'll put a needle
and it'll.
through them, and that's where it gets really dangerous for us swimmers, but also for the wildlife, for the marine life, right? There's a needle or there's an open an épingle, I don't know how to call that in English, but it's the needles
Oh
that you
yeah,
can close
the
up.
needles and the yeah
Yeah, a pin. No,
a pin.
my
No,
goodness.
the security pins. I don't know how you call them.
Safety pin, safety pin.
Safety pin. Yeah,
My goodness, both of our
yeah. I was
English
thinking
today
too.
is
I
not
don't
good.
know.
Yeah, so these are the things that can be found in the water that can be very
Yeah,
it can be dangerous. It can be difficult to retrieve as well. There's all sorts of
yeah.
different things.
Now the gawk. What happens with this is people think that the lake is polluted, when in reality, what it is life, right? It's all the stuff that goes in the lake. It sinks like leaves, wood, anything, and then when with the waves, it comes out and it gets like pounded with the waves, and then it's all in the like along the shore, and people don't like it because it smells bad when the sun dries it. and it looks ugly. It's slimy and black. I don't mind it. I think for me, it's life. It's food for the birds. There's so many birds in there that I honestly I don't mind. It looks disgusting, but it's not dangerous or anything like that.
Well, I remember we walked through that muck and it was
Many
pretty
times.
deep. I don't know, 1 foot deep even. And we had to walk 10, 15 meters. You know, this it's pretty disgusting. But you
It's
rinse it off
disgusting.
after, yeah, you rinse it off afterwards, and we were completely fine. We never had a skin infection from
No,
that.
never. No, never,
Because
never, never.
definitely it's organic materials, basically, like you
Yeah,
said. It's all that pounded vegetation that is becomes in smaller particles, and you have to just walk through. There's the muck, and then in the winter,
the shelf.
yeah, the ice shelf. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So what happens again is whenever there's waves and they start bringing more water into the shore, there's a combination of ice and sand that gets accumulated and accumulated, and with the cold starts growing. So then we have the shelf. The shelves are very dangerous. People don't realize how dangerous they are, but we have seen people falling in. Catherine fell in. I had my leg going through one, and Peter was laughing, and he has a picture, but it was kind of, it hurts. Plus, you can go down and then you drown. So the shelf in Burlington Beach is super high, sometimes more than a meter, maybe 1.2 meters. And okay, if it's minus 30, you know it's not gonna melt. But if the temperature goes up, then it starts melting, and it's when it gets dangerous. Now, most people don't swim when the shelf is there. So,
Mhm.
but people visit the beach. Um, Another thing that it's a problem are the shells. Like you said, sometimes the lake throws out all the shells from the invasive. I forgot the name. It's
They
a
attach,
mollusk.
yeah, they attach to
Uh,
the
the
boats.
boats.
Yeah, the under part of the boats. It's a mollusk.
It's a but I don't remember the name. It's a white something.
Hmm.
Um, what is
I,
that people like to eat when they
uh,
go to the restaurants?
oh, wait, they're not oysters. They're
No, but they're
anyway,
little as well.
part of the
Well,
mollusk
whatever
family.
those.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see when the lake throws them out and everything is white. And that's the reason why maybe Shell Park is white, because they completely, but it's an invasive species that it's causing a lot of damage. And they hurt like hell when you step on them.
Hmm. Yeah, you can get some cuts
They
from
caught,
that.
yeah, they caught.
S-
Now, I
s-
don't have that many in Burlington Beach. It's Hamilton Beach and Shell Park, the ones that have them, but it's in Lake Ontario. So,
So in terms of dangers in Lake Ontario, they're fairly limited. There would be access and exit dangers they have to be careful of, especially if there are ice shelves, rocks, the shells at the bottom, mm, and then even the marine
it,
life is fairly
the
tame.
marine life, it's not. Maybe the currents, you have to be careful. Like Shell has currents because of the bridge. Mm, what else? I think the most dangerous things are the jet skis and the boats,
Hum-
honestly.
Humans, humans, and the lake flipping because you did mention
Oh,
you
yeah.
were out swimming, right? So if the lake flips from 20 degrees to 7 degrees, highly possible,
Yeah.
then you could be
There
at
was an
risk.
accident about 2, 3 weeks ago, but I think it was Lake Erie. A father and a kid were on a canoe and they flipped and they passed away, but I think it was because of the cold.
Oh, that's so sad. It's also
Yeah.
early in the season to have some
Yeah.
drownings.
Yeah,
My,
there's been a couple.
ay, ay, ay. So that
Yeah,
so
yeah.
those
Well,
are,
that's the other danger is that you don't know if a body is gonna come here.
yeah, we never know. We've heard of two instances where people have swam into dead bodies in Lake Ontario. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
always in the back. That's in the back of my mind when I swim over here too.
yeah, me
Ugh,
too.
ugh,
And that's
ugh.
why I never swim close to the rocks.
Yeah. And let's list some of the beaches that people can swim from to access Lake Ontario. And we know them more from Toronto going to Niagara Falls. The other way, I don't know them as well. So maybe you're more
Yeah, me
familiar
neither.
with
I
them.
know some places that are absolutely beautiful, passing Toronto, but
Yeah,
there's
in
too many beaches.
in Toronto, there's Cherry Beach. People can also swim from the
The
Toronto
island is
Islands.
very beautiful, and there's a nudist beach there.
On the Toronto Islands? Oh my God. Right. We're saying this on air. We gotta go next time.
Take all of the lines of our bathing suits.
Yeah. It's more because then we feel the water. Open water swimming is a very sensory experience. It's one that
Absolutely.
appeals to all the senses. So when we swim without a bathing suit, we really feel like we're one with the elements. So anyway, hence the enthusiasm for the naked beaches. So there's the islands. Then there's what was it? Toronto? No, not Toronto. Ontario Place. Can you still swim out on
There's
there?
a Toronto, Ontario place is a mess right now because our beautiful mayor, or whatever he's called, he sold it to a spa. So they're closing the beaches there. But there's the beaches by the pavilion. Like I don't know the names, like Humber Bay. There's a bunch of beaches around there that are beautiful, and there are also like public pools and dressing rooms and everything along the shore. There's the beaches in Toronto. Then you go
Hmm.
to Scarborough, and it's the those cliffs. I don't
Yeah,
remember the
Scarborough
name.
Bluffs. Yeah.
Bluffs. Those ones. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then we went to swim once to where the nuclear plant is, and it
Oh,
says, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. I said, I'm not going in. I don't want to have a third eye. Well, I have my third eye. I don't want just like a cyclop or something.
open your third eye.
Open my third eye. So I didn't swim there. What's the name of that place? It's
I not Darlington. I don't know why I had Darlington in mind. I saw the sign so many times going by the highway.
yeah. I and you could see the
Yeah.
plants
And they've
there,
had,
so they have to flush water. And
yeah.
there's signs everywhere. Please do not swim. And the group that we were with, 3 people swam. They still don't have 3 eyes or anything like that, but who knows? I
They just
didn't
have
swim.
they just have little wings on their back.
Yeah, exactly. And from there, there's beautiful. There's Coburg that
Oh
has one
yeah,
of the
Coburg is
very nice
beautiful.
beaches.
Yeah. Yeah,
Then
Kingston. There's
Kingston,
Kingston.
we discovered this beautiful park after Coburg. What's the name of the park? Presqu'île.
Oh yes. Yes.
Oh my God, so beautiful. We saw an absolutely amazing there. And there's a bird sanctuary there. More than 300 types of birds fly there. And we saw one that was like very important. It's a purple sandpiper.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And there's the other one where all the airplanes pass by because it's a military zone. It's called sand
Well,
dunes,
there's sandbanks.
sandbanks, that one. But I
Yeah.
didn't know there's a part of the beach that has mines
What?
because they
What?
used to train there and put the mines there. So it was like, oh, we don't want to go there.
That's crazy.
That's
So
insane.
Lake Ontario has some nuclear waste. We know that. Now I just learned it's got some mines somewhere. Hopefully
Yeah, but
they're,
those ones, I think, obviously the area is closed,
yeah.
but they're
But
there.
they can be washed out, they can move,
Oh my
and
God, no, hopefully no.
just quickly, there's a Second World War leftover armaments have been dumped into the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, and they're starting there. It's a serious issue,
Oh
and
my God.
yeah, they've been washing up on the shores, and someone thought it was a rock because it was covered in I don't know stuff, and then brought it home in Ontario. And
Yeah.
somehow someone told them, "Are you sure this is not metal? And we should go and get it checked." And they got it checked, and they're like, "This bomb could be active. We don't know." And so be careful about picking things up on the shores, and it could be the same thing in Lake Ontario. Who knows if there are mines in there? That's crazy.
But it
Landmines
says
in the
that there
lake.
are no active naval, how do you pronounce that? Naval mines in Lake Ontario, but several beaches and shorelines contain unexploded bombs.
Oh my
And
God.
it's the main area of concern is Bald Head Island on the sandbar at Whalers Bay, east of Brighton, which is a beautiful place.
Mm.
Beautiful place. So we found out when we were doing our swims, you remember with the bad boys going that way. We were like, oh my God, I don't want to swim that.
Yeah, yeah. So you've explored a number of beaches on Lake Ontario. And let's not forget the other way too, right? From Toronto to Niagara Falls, there's
Oh yeah,
Jack Darling, there's a number of places
there's
in
a bunch of parks.
Mississauga, there's
There's Coronation
Oakville,
Park in
yeah,
Oakville, Shell Park.
Park.
There's
Even in Burlington with I don't even know where that beach is. It's not even a beach, but there's the pier with the you can walk up to the second or third floor and the
oh yeah,
hotel
yeah.
is
That's Burlington Beach. Then it's
Burlington.
Hamilton Beach.
Yeah.
Then from Hamilton Beach, you go to Long Point, which is beautiful. Then there are many. I've swum
Wait,
in.
just a second. Long Point, isn't that Long Point on Lake Erie?
Is it on Lake Erie or is it Lake Ontario?
Long Point is Lake Erie,
Let me see
which
the
is
map.
a really nice place to go swimming if the
Oh yeah,
water is cold,
calm.
because when it gets warm, you don't know about the water quality there. But yeah, Long Point and Turkey Point are on
Turkey
Lake
Point
Erie.
and Peely Point and all of
Yeah,
those points.
yeah. Point
Yeah,
Pelee is the southernmost point in Canada. That's all I remember. But those are
yeah.
nice places. Pelee Island is beautiful to go swim. However, that's Lake Erie. We're talking about Lake
That's Lake
Ontario
Erie.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Lake Ontario. We've swum once very close to, I don't know how to pronounce that. Dalhousie.
Dalhousie, Dalhousie.
I
Okay.
don't know how they pronounce it. Everything that
You're
it's French, they pronounce it very weird.
Dalhousie.
Um, yeah, Dalhousie. And there's a lake, the part of the lake where there's a point where you can swim and cross Lake Ontario as well. There's a beach
Oh.
because you have to be careful where the falls dump all the water. But there's a point there, and then we jump to Lake Erie. So yeah, no, Long Point, yeah,
Port Dover
50 Port Dover, and there's what's the name of this? No, Port Dover is also
is
in
Lake Erie.
Lake Erie. No, here
It's in
is
St.
50
Catharines area.
Point.
Oh yeah, 50
Yeah,
Point
it's
Conservation. Yes.
50 points, and then
And then there's
well, there's
Niagara on the
other
lake, and there's just basically there's a number of safe
a lot.
spots to go in and out of Lake Ontario. That's basically what it comes down to. There's a number of places. People should not fear getting into the water, which is something that I learned recently, Gabriela. I don't know if you knew this, but in Europe, entry and exit points they can be a little um, it's not even danger. There's some legal issues. So some
Oh,
landowners are claiming people cannot swim
use
there or
their
or access the water from their land. So there's some contentious issues happening right
well,
now. But we don't have
hope
as many of these issues here in Canada, maybe because we have
no.
so many open bodies of water. So Lake Ontario is big. It's open for swimming, usually year long. You swim through the winter. And this past winter, how was your swimming experience?
It was, I would say, normal usually, but the problem is that it's been too long, way too long and too cold. Um, I'm fed up. I want warmer waters. I want to
You
swim
and
distance.
you and how many million people in Ontario?
Um, I feel it's been too long, too long. The cold and the water was really cold from it was mid-November. So it's been kind of uncomfortable, lots of snow, lots of ice. There was some point there was so much ice you couldn't swim. So right now I'm starting to swim distance, and for example, today my neck hurts because I haven't swim any distance.
Hmm.
So it's
And and
time.
and distance for you today was 2 kilometers, about that?
2.2, the same as yesterday. Yeah, yeah. It's nothing.
Yeah.
At this time, usually we're swimming 3, 4 kilometers.
I was thinking of
Too
you on the
cold.
weekend. We did an outing. We swam from Kitsilano Beach to Jericho.
To Jericho, I saw
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
we did a little bit of extra at Kits to make sure we were going to try and reach 5K, but none of us had a smartwatch or a way to know how much distance we did. So we kind of went, and we didn't even have we didn't even know how much time we had been in the water. So we're kind of like, okay, well, let's. And two of the people were more cold, so I know that they could have kept going, but we didn't want to chance it. So we just decided, okay, let's just all get out.
Get
And I
out.
pulled I pulled out my Strava, which is not the best way to measure distance. I agree, but that's the only thing I have with me. And it was 4.199 meters swimming, and we have been swimming for an hour and a half. Time at least is accurate on Strava. So an hour and a half, I was like, oh, that's actually a lot longer than expected. So I was thinking of you because our water temps would have been between 12 and 14, I think. Is that what you have currently in Lake Ontario? No,
No,
you're
yesterday was 9. A couple of days
yeah.
ago was 11. Uh, but no, it has not been up at all.
And it's tough to do distance at 9.
Yeah, it's tough because you start getting cold and your brain starts saying if it's too long, you're gonna get cold. Da, da, da. And so no, it hasn't been possible. Even I've been checking Strava. I don't use Strava a lot, but I've been checking, Michelle and people that swim. They've been swimming. Actually, Peter swam long, but the other ones are still doing just in and out kind of thing because it's
Or
been cold. It was
and
Toronto was 7 degrees on the weekend.
yeah, and a lot of people will keep their distance up by swimming in the pool, but you don't swim. You mostly swim in the lake. You don't swim in the pool, right?
No. So I need to start building up my distance.
Is there, so that was last winter, that was your experience. And I seem to remember you usually are in the water almost every day, but you had some longer stretches where you were not in the water. Conditions, snowstorms. You guys had a really tough winter.
Winter.
Uh, yeah. And so now you're back in the water more regularly and you're starting to do some distance. Are you preparing for a specific challenge or event or something that you're setting
Every
yourself as a goal?
every year I want to swim a little longer than the previous year. So last year, it was almost 16.2 kilometers. So if I could do 18, would be amazing. But
Oh.
but because I swim alone and all that kind of stuff, I have to convince one of my kids to go on the paddleboard and
Hmm.
swim with me because it's difficult. It's difficult. As of competitions and things like that, I don't have nothing planned or 10K or something like that.
It's funny. I thought you were in the 25, 30K category, which is why I was saying in the intro, 10 to 20K for you as a warm up, but not quite.
No,
20,
not quite.
20K would be your maybe next year's challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
25. I would love to go to, that company that they swim in Croatia and Greece and all that. I would love to do that, something
Swim
like that.
Quest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for fun, not to compete with anyone.
Yeah. I'd love to do that, but in Canada. My goal is to swim through in every province and territory and swim in the three oceans, Arctic, Atlantic.
I love the
Yeah.
idea. That I
Yeah.
love the idea.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't
do
say
it.
no.
We're
Let's
throwing
do
it
it.
out there and hopefully we'll work
But
on getting some
we don't need to
sponsors.
swim 20 kilometers. We can
No,
swim
we can
two
just
kilometers,
swim
5 kilometers.
at least a kilometer in every location.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
And then meet
definitely.
meet up with some local people who can help us. And
Yeah.
yeah, one of my future guests on the podcast, she doesn't know it yet, but it's going to be Nadine because Nadine Bennett she's in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, so she swims over there regularly and I
And
couldn't
she's a
believe
long
it.
distance swimmer.
Yeah, yeah. But I couldn't believe it this winter when she posted that picture of the temperature of the ocean water at minus zero point 0.5 because it was all slush. I didn't even know that ocean water could get in a minus. I knew that
It
Lake
can, but
Ontario could.
it's just on the edges.
Yeah, where the slush is.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. This
anything.
year we went to point. It was -0.8, I think. I have the picture. I have to look at the picture, but it was minus something.
Cold.
Go in and out.
And I would say to people listening, if you're interested in swimming in the winter, well, pick your location because Lake Ontario can get really cold. Atlantic gets really cold. Pacific Ocean, we're like balmy 5.5. I think that's the lowest that we got it. Actually, I say that, but no, I think we got it under 5. There was a couple of days where it was particularly cold. And I know when I lose sensation in my fingers, it's under 5. But
Yeah,
otherwise,
I get the
it's
tingling in my legs and my feet.
yeah.
Oh, the other day I told you that there were two ladies and I just wanted to talk to them, but they were deepers. So I spent like 15 minutes talking to them and my feet were like, oh. And they thought that I was waiting for my swimming buddy. And I'm like, no, I don't have a swimming buddy. And then she looked at me again. I was like, you don't swim with anyone? No. I'm just, I didn't say wasting my time with you, but I said, I'm just here with you talking, but I need to move because my feet hurt.
So that's something else that happened on the weekend when I did the swim there from Kits to Jericho. One of the swimmers who got cold was telling me, Ellen, when we stop and we either wait or we chat or we reassess a situation, I get cold. And I'm like, good to know. You should have said something when we were in the water, not after.
Yeah.
And that's important for people to know. But one of the keys is to keep moving, whether we're on land or in the water. So when we start to get cold, it's a serious message that we have to take in and decide how we're going to address the situation. But do
Yeah.
not make your situation worse just because there are other people there with you.
Yeah, but yesterday I met this little girl. I didn't meet her. I saw her. I was sitting down on the beach and this family came. It's the mom and the grandmom with a little kid. Maybe she was year and a half, maybe no, she was walking and running, maybe 2.5, 3 max. And she had a little bathing suit and it was cold. She went in and she was in the waves and you could see she was the happiest. And I'm like, that little kid is gonna be a great cold water swimmer. And the mom was like, I cannot get in, my feet hurt. And the little kid was just having fun. It was so
Oh,
funny to see her, a good swimmer in the
oh,
making.
yes, yes. Oh, we enjoy seeing that. Gabriela, is there anything else you wanted to say about Lake Ontario?
I just want to say too, I've met a lot of people that are afraid of exploring swimming out in open water. And I think lakes are a good place to experiment, especially for example, Lake Ontario, that it's shallow at the beginning. Just go there and put your feet in there, go up to your knees and just feel it, experiment. It's a different feeling from the pool. Um, it's a different adventure. Obviously, always be careful. I should not say
Hmm.
that it's not dangerous. It's dangerous. There's currents and things, but don't be afraid to go with Ellen out and experiment swimming in open water.
Or go out with Gabriela. If they want to come out with me, they have to come to Vancouver, not in Lake
I'll go to
Ontario.
Vancouver.
Oh, any day. Well, I would add two things about Lake Ontario. Where we were swimming between Toronto and Niagara Falls, all the different beaches I went to, never was there algae or seaweed or
No,
however people call it. So a lot of times one of the fears is that, oh my God, I'm gonna get this like algae wrap around my leg and it's gonna be
no,
pulling me down. So there's none of that.
no,
That's the number one
no.
thing.
There's some algae in, for example, Shell Park had uh, not algae at the bottom, but the blue-green algae that forms on that is dangerous.
Oh,
It was not a Shell Park. It was, you know where Paleta House is? They have
yes.
blue algae there, but it's because the water comes in and it gets stranded there, that there's no
Stagnant.
current. But no, there are weeds in some parts, but they're deep. So I see them and I'm like, "Ew." I don't
Hmm.
like them, but they don't touch me.
Yeah. And then there's the water quality. Whoever the instances are who were taking care of the water quality in Lake Ontario have really stepped up since the late 90s, where that's when I got my skin infection from the water. But we were swimming there every day, and you swim there now all the
I,
time. Yeah,
I got sick once, twice.
and it wasn't. Oh yeah, yeah, it was this very specific time, but
It rained. Now I know my lesson. Before I was a good get anxious not swimming. But now if it rains, I stop swimming one day. I don't care.
yeah, water runoffs, and so basically sewer overflows, water runoffs.
Especially in the winter, everything gets cleaned, right? So everything goes to the lake. So
Yeah, same. So over here we have a map that we can consult for the sewer overflow,
mhm.
and if it rains too hard and we see that the sewers are overflowing, ideally they would have some timestamps when they start, when they stop, and how much overflow. Sadly, we don't have that information, but at least we know that it did overflow, and then we choose not to
Yeah,
go in because
we
we
don't
don't
have it,
have.
but Hamilton does. Yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, so you don't have those maps. I know that different cities do it a little bit differently. So you can consult maps depending
yeah.
on where people are wanting to
I
swim.
know that bad stuff comes from Keystone and it takes like 48 hours to get here.
Mm.
But no, the maps are on Hamilton, but Hamilton throws everything up to Niagara, so it doesn't affect me.
And it's a little counterintuitive, right? That the current would go from the Kingston area and bring things into Hamilton because we would think, well, no, the water flows
It
out
should
of Lake
be the other, but
Ontario,
no,
right?
this
It
one
should
goes
go
like,
west. It shouldn't go east before going west. So water quality is definitely improved in the
yes,
Great Lakes.
in the summer, yeah, and the city tells you about water quality, but it's
Hmm.
mainly in the shore.
And on the beaches, correct me if I'm wrong, the water quality is only measured during certain times of the year, right?
Yeah,
Like May to
just when it's
September.
hot.
Yeah.
It's
And
actually
then,
June, end of middle
oh,
June, all the way to Labor Day.
okay. And so we have to kind of use our judgment to go in or not, use our nose
Our
and
nose and the
if it
color
rained.
and yeah, but you get used to the smells and things.
Yeah. Yeah, every
Yes.
body of water has its own smell. So yeah, you want to make sure you know what the regular smell is, right? That's a healthy
And it
smell for that
changes with
water.
the heat. Right now that it's hot, the smell is very, very different.
And
Very,
the
very
taste,
different.
taste of the
The
water as
taste
well is
as well.
different.
Yeah, and right now there's a lot of pollen. Like it's when the lake looks yellow. It's fascinating, but then you get allergies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was water quality I wanted to bring up. And just so people are clear, we're not talking about swimming in the Hamilton Harbor, which is
No,
Burlington Bay.
that's a no.
That's a hard no. That's a hard no, people. Don't swim
They're
there.
cleaning it. So
Yeah.
they're cleaning it and everything, but I would not swim there maybe in the next 5 years.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
they're rehabilitating it.
There's
They're
I mean Coots Paradise is even further, but there's Cormorant Island there and there's nothing that grows there. It's completely um
cormorants also
dead.
are in you know where we swim to cross the bridge. They live in the back there as well. But
Hmm.
if they live there, they thrive. That's something I don't understand. But
They
they're happy
thrive,
there.
but they kill
And
all
there's
of the nature.
swans and there's all kinds of birds there. But yeah, there's millions of them in
So
the back.
so the poop that they put out there is definitely
Yeah, and
increasing the E. coli
but
count.
that goes to Hamilton Bay
And I think that building that you're mentioning is the government of Canada. So it's the federal building for
of the water.
water and fisheries. There's something about that. They do a lot of research there and water quality monitoring. So there's a lot of irony that these
That's iron.
cormorants are right there and polluting that space. Yeah,
The
and it's
cormorants and the seagulls. Yeah.
yeah, and it's right next to one of the most polluted areas in Canada, which is in the Hamilton Harbor. There a lot of chemicals were just thrown into the lake, and it was capped about 10 years ago, I think. It was there in Nova Scotia were the two most polluted spots. So definitely do not swim, people, in Burlington Bay. Lake Ontario, yes. Burlington Bay, no. Well, that concludes our chat about Lake Ontario. Is there anything else, Gabriela, that you want to add or?
No, no, I love my lake. I think you have peace of mind more than you because I know there are no sharks and no jellyfish. Oh, now there's a jellyfish, actually. There's a
There
little
are,
tiny, 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 tiny
what?
jellyfish, but it doesn't do anything to humans.
Okay.
Obviously, some boat must have brought it, but there's tiny, tiny, tiny,
Hi.
right? But now it doesn't do anything. They're tiny, tiny.
Zebra. Zebra
Yeah, the
oysters.
mollusk is a
Yeah.
zebra. It's a zebra. What? That's it.
Zebra something. Anyway, those are the invasive species and the shells that we
Yeah.
find that we were talking about at the very, very beginning of the episode because our minds
Muscle.
work.
It's
The
a
zebra
muscle.
mussels. Ah, yes, 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 yes,
They're
yes.
bad for the environment, the
Oh my
zebras.
God. Yeah, they were brought in by stuck on the hull of
Oh.
of a ship or mini boats. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was such a lovely chat with you today. Thank you for sharing all of your experience in terms of the conditions of Lake Ontario. And I do agree with you. It's a great lake to go and swim in. There's rarely any debris floating at the surface, which is a huge issue for us over here.
Yeah, true. We never
The
talk about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
debris is the number one concern for me here. The jellyfish is number two because if I have a piece like a big log that's waterlogged, so it's just under the surface, and I'm swimming and I crash into it, I could knock myself out. So that's
Easily.
and we get debris regularly. So that's number one concern. Jellyfish is number two. So we have, the moon jellies are fine, but then we also get lion's mane
I
and they
saw a
sting.
picture. Somebody took a picture. He says, I took a picture from my deck close to you, and it was impressive. It was
They
impressive, lion.
People check it out online. Lion's mane can get huge. I don't think we get them as big, but they can be like, I think 3 meters long and like long tentacles, even longer. It's just blah. But mostly they sting. And for those of us who can have anaphylactic shock to bee stings, wasp stings, then there's a good chance that we will be having
Mhm.
anaphylactic shock to that too.
I don't want to see those.
So you don't have those in Lake Ontario, but you have the mini ones now. And you do have the eels, but they're not the lamprey eels. They're the
No, there are
American
lamprey
eels.
eels, but they don't come this way. They like more not shallow water there, but they are, and they're a lot. And I didn't know because my dog likes to swim. He loves going to Bronte Creek and swim, and there are lampreys there, and they put their eggs there. I
Oh,
didn't know. I didn't know.
would they attack or
They can
I,
latch to brioche,
yeah.
but and I think they like to latch to fish because it's easier. But yeah, they're ugly.
Yeah, just so people understand, the lamprey eels will latch on and make a hole in the fish or into their prey, really. So they
But they're
eat a
little.
chunk.
We think, their mouth is like that, but they're tiny. They're ugly as hell. But
They're the sea monsters of Lake Ontario. And that's where I'm going to end, is that there are no sea monsters in
no sea
Lake
monster.
Ontario.
The only sea monster that swims there is me.
Or the sea monsters in our heads,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, which they can come up pretty often if it gets dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then that's a wrap on today's episode of The Coolest Journey. I'm your host, Hélène Caron, and as always, thank you so much for being here. And seriously,
Thank you.
it does mean everything. And really, Gabriela,
Thank you.
it's
I
always a
have a lot of
pleasure
fun.
chatting with you. We always have fun talking about swimming because we both love it so much. And for those of you who are listening or watching this, if you love this episode, here's how you can keep this show alive and growing. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Leave a review if you're feeling generous, if you like our banter about swimming spots. And most importantly, share it. Share the podcast, share the video, share it with a friend, a family member, a colleague, a neighbor who keeps talking about wanting to feel better, or your family if you want to keep annoying them with all the swimming stuff. It's a good way to go. Word of mouth is the single most powerful thing anyone can do for an independent podcast, and it costs you nothing but 30 seconds of your time. So every share could help this community grow by one person, and that matters. I'm on a mission to make the world a little cooler, one conversation, one cold plunge or swim, one allergen-free vegan plate at a time, and many communities at a time. And I can't do it without you. So thank you, Gabriela, for adding your voice
You're
to
welcome.
mine in terms of open water swimming today. And that was our check-in, our water check-in today. So until next time, I wish everyone health, energy, and the coolest journey of your life. Thank you, and bye once again, Gabriela.
Thank you so much.